Hey guys, Alex here from Live Green Be Well, and today is June 7th and it is our first CSA day of the season. We are so excited. We have been getting Farmer Dave's CSA boxes for a few years now, and it's always so exciting finding out what we get. We have an idea in the beginning. It's usually some leftover crops from the fall and winter time, and then rolling into spring we see a lot of greens. So I'm expecting a lot of lettuce, spinach, things like that. So stay tuned and let's see what we get. So here is our green CSA box. We do a half share, which we find for two people is great. Sometimes we have trouble finishing it, but anything that we don't finish, we really try to freeze or store in some way or give away to family or friends. So we got a fun little side gift, a basil plant, which is good because I didn't actually grow basil this season. So here's our fun little basil plant. So I'm thinking this will be great for adding into some pesto, homemade pesto. And let's see what we've got in our box. Looks like we've got some nice tomatoes, which are great for salads. And actually over the weekend, we did grill some veggies. Right in a kind of grilling basket, we threw squash and tomatoes and cut up an onion and sort of sauteed that all together and grilled it, and it came out really good. So I would definitely recommend, if you don't like raw tomatoes but you like them cooked, you could do grilled tomatoes as is, just throw them in the grill basket. We also have spinach. And so one thing our CSA does allow us to have a swap box. So we swapped out a bunch of arugula for another spinach because spinach goes by, we use up spinach really fast in our house. We put it in eggs, smoothies, on pizza, whatever. And so you can see we get some nice spinach, and it's great to freeze. So I will wash and sort of prep one of these for us to eat for the week. It's also great in salads. And then I will also wash and prep and freeze one for the week, which is great. I mean, you can also put them, I mix it with pasta, saute it. You could really do anything with spinach. We've got lettuce, like I said. Definitely thought we were gonna get lettuce because this is kind of quintessential spring crop. So with the lettuce, we would expect to see lettuce because it is a spring, sort of late winter, early spring crop. And so we're getting into the time where spinach and lettuce is gonna start bolting soon, meaning it's gonna produce flowers. It's no longer gonna grow any more lettuce, and it's going to go to seed. So it's a good time to think about if you want to save your seeds or harvest the rest of your lettuce, especially if you live in the New England area, because the weather's getting hot. It's 96 degrees today. Cucumber, can't go wrong with the cucumber. Great sliced, dip it in hummus, have it in a salad. Love cucumber for a snack. And we've got some purple onions, which are really cool. And the onions, I definitely could cut this and try to regrow the stems, which I've done countless times with regular green onions. These little guys, you can cut them and saute them. You can also cut all of these green stems and saute. So that's a really important thing to note with crop shares. Any vegetables that you pick up from the farmers markets, I mean, even stuff from a conventional grocery store, use as much as you can of the product. I can't emphasize that enough. Use as much as you can of the vegetable. The greens are always an option, especially on, beets, We've got, Swiss chard, you can eat the stems as well as the leaves. Kale, I cut up the whole thing, not just the leaves. So definitely make sure you try to take advantage of the entire vegetable. And lastly, we have 2 things of potatoes. So 2 different kinds of potatoes, which is great because potatoes are another thing that we go through quite often. We have potatoes with our eggs. Potatoes are great as a side dish. And I would love to make a potato salad, right? Because we're getting into summertime, so it's great for potato salad. So just off the top of my head, if I cook these potatoes, I could saute, wilt some spinach, mix that in with the potatoes. I did post a recipe on my blog for a nice winter potato salad that did have spinach in it and potatoes. So that's great. And you can also throw in some chopped onions as well. So lots of options here. And like I said, this is the beginning. We're expecting sort of end of the fall winter crops, beginning of the spring summer crops, lettuce and such. And so as we evolve and move into deeper summertime, we'll see more of the regular squashes, more tomatoes, corn, more cucumbers and things like that. So definitely stay tuned. This is a really exciting way to sort of really eat locally, support our local farmers, get the best nutrients we possibly can. So it's really important to live as close to the land as you can, making sure that we're supporting our local farms, and community supported agriculture is a great way to do that. So I'll next kind of be showing you a recipe based on the ingredients we got today. Okay, so here we are in the kitchen, and I thought it would be great to show you all a recipe that you can easily put together using the ingredients that you get in your CSA box. So I want to make a potato salad because after talking about it, I actually really want it. And so it's going to be super easy. We just boil the potatoes, saute the spinach with some of those purple onions, let that cool, set it aside. We'll be making a homemade dressing and cutting up some of the other vegetables that we got in the box to really add some color and variety. So we'll chop up some of the tomatoes and some of the cucumbers, toss that all together, and we'll be good to go. So just a quick comment on the potatoes. Remember, the cropshare vegetables come from the farm, and they are oftentimes not pre-washed or scrubbed. So your potatoes will be dirty, which is great because they came from the ground. So make sure you really wash your potatoes really well, and all your other vegetables. You may find the occasional surprise in there, so don't be alarmed. Again, these are all normal parts of farming, so just be aware you should wash everything, even greens if they come in a bag. Still give them a good wash. Make sure there's nothing crazy in there, and then you'll be good to go. So for me, I'm gonna cut just some of the little maybe eyes or any imperfections out, but you certainly don't have to. I'm just gonna cut a few things, but mainly I'm just gonna leave them whole and dump them right in the water. We've got the potatoes boiling, and now it's time to saute the spinach and the purple onion. So I chopped up, well, first of all, I washed thoroughly my spinach, chopped that up. It doesn't really matter if you chop it up because it's gonna wilt down anyway, but I gave it a chop. I'm gonna throw that in there, saute it a little bit with some olive oil. Not too much. Another option, if you're pressed for time, you could actually chop this up and mix it with the hot potatoes that are after your potato salad is kind of cut up. If the potatoes are still warm, you can mix that in and it'll actually wilt just fine. So now I'm gonna take one onion and wash this, and I'll probably peel off this little guy and compost it. But then otherwise, I'm going to be sauteing this, cut this up with my spinach. Shouldn't take more than a minute or two, and then we'll be good to go. So my saute is complete, so I'm just waiting on the potatoes. So I'm going to wash our tomatoes and peel and chop the cucumber, and then I'll set that aside and wait for the potatoes to finish. Potatoes have been drained, cooled, and cut. So I'm going to mix our sauteed spinach and onions right in with the potatoes. And we also have the tomatoes and cucumbers cut. So I'm going to dump that in there as well. Mix this up, and then we'll add the dressing. So everything is all mixed up right now, so that looks really good. And now it's time to make the dressing. So we're gonna do olive oil, red wine vinegar, we've got oregano, we've got Italian seasoning, and then we'll do a dash of the salt, pepper, and paprika, and some garlic. So olive oil, I'm just gonna use this as a ballpark to measure. And so I'm gonna do 3/4 of a cup of the olive oil. Then I'm going to do 1/4 cup of the red wine vinegar. And just for ease, I'm just gonna measure it up to the next level here. This is not an exact science. Then I'm going to do a teaspoon of oregano, teaspoon of Italian seasoning, we're doing a dash of paprika, dash of some Himalayan sea salt, a little bit of peppercorn, and a 1/2 teaspoon of minced garlic. This is our standard salad dressing recipe that we use in all of our salads. So you can certainly use this on a regular green salad, but it makes a nice dressing or marinade for other dishes as well. Mix that up and we'll be good to go. Okay, moment of truth. So I'm going to shake this up and pour it on. Not too much, just a little bit. I'm going to mix it up. Oops. I'm going to take my sample bowl, spoon some in there, take a bite. It's light, it's refreshing. You've got a bunch of awesome farm fresh vegetables in there. Super easy to make. And now you have some extra salad dressing that you can use for other salads during the week. This is a great side dish. You could add beans to it and make it a meal of its own as well. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.